motherfucker. Shit, I was having a think and I thought, what's the fucking chances? But no, seriously, I did this tattoo, the other day, and a lot of the comments were talking about the lights and the shadows. I love that people noticed that I put that in that piece, harsh shadows. And it made me think, is there stuff you can put in stylized tattoos to give the hint of realism still? What I mean by that is, naturally, when we see something real and it's nice, I'm guessing it's more pleasing to the eye because we can recognize it, we can associate it with it a bit more because it's more real. Now, my style isn't realistic, but it does have hints of realism in it. And one of the biggest ones are the shadowing. That's the one that the lighting, the shades, the shadows that get mentioned a lot. But I thought today I'd mention a few things that you could add to your tattoos that might give it that realistic effect, so that people may associate better with your tattoos, be it illustrative or not. Check out these ringlets, by the way. I look like I've got an old judge's wig on that I've just sprayed black. Looks like a fucking turkey Twizzler, doesn't it? Yeah. As you notice, a lot of tattoos, and it could be trad, it could be any style. The light is always uniform most of the time. There'll be like a pop of shine or something, like a lollipop in a Cupid's hand will have that bing of shine to it. There'll usually be quite a uniform lighting to the whole thing. And I see it a lot with people like starting out and trying to find their way. But I think there's a few things that could help distinguish that illustrative style from being just an illustration to having hints of realism, subtle hints of realism that might boost that style just a bit more. Anyway, here's the thing. I've written, man, look, let me just show you the notes I had. These are the notes I had for this, right? I was sketching out a tattoo. I don't know if you can see it, but there's my notes. First off is non-symmetrical symmetry. Someone's getting a chest piece, yeah? They want a bird, they want the wings spread. Man, make it same weighted either side, but you don't need to make it symmetrical. You could even draw the whole thing. Let's say you're drawing it on Procreate and you're using like a symmetry tool. You could draw the whole thing with the symmetry tool, but once it's, let's get a rough sketch of that, yeah? Once it's done, make some non-symmetry in there. Like, a couple of feathers on one side might be a bit skew, you know? There might be, let's say, I don't know, some more detail on a scuffed bit of the light fluffy feather on one side, and like it might be some twig stuck in the wing on the other side, or it might be wearing a shoe on one of its claws. I don't fucking know, but you can mix it up once the main stencil's done. I think when you make things not completely symmetrical, but the same weight, if that makes sense. So you've got the same amount of tattoo either side, in roughly the same shape, yet there's details in either. Not only does that tattoo then look, it has a bit more to it, but you aren't gonna get bored tattooing the exact same side again after. And I think, unless it's quite like symbolic, an emblem that someone's asked for perfect symmetry, most people are going to be happy that you've put the effort in to mix up either side just a tad, just a little bit, just so it makes it a little bit more fun. And non-symmetrical symmetry leads me on to the next part, which is the harsh shadows. If you have a symmetrical tattoo but your light source isn't symmetrical, so let's say you do it completely symmetrical, you don't fuck with either side exactly the same, yet the light source comes down from like the top right angle, then everything, so let's say, yeah, right, my right, yeah, so the top right angle shining down, every face of the tattoo that's facing that light will have if it's close to the object behind it, it will have a hard shadow, and everything that's coming towards from around the corner towards that light will have a soft shadow. So the soft shadows usually come from the bottom of something into it, and the harsh shadows come from under it on the behind object. And that can also bring a sense of like, pardon me 1 second, I had to look up the exact meaning of asymmetry then, because I was thinking that's not the right term for it, but you have to bring in a little bit of asymmetry in your symmetry. I think that's where I'm going. The shadowing can do that, and you can add shadowing to any style. Like, you could add it to traditional, you could add it to neo-traditional, you could add it to fucking Tibetan. fucking Maori pattern work. You can add it to, it'd look weird. It'll make the Maori look 3D. Anyway, you can add it to loads of stuff. That's another aspect you can add to your tattoos to kind of break it up a bit. A lot of the time I see tattoos, they've got like, let's talk about this bird as a chess piece, for example. Bird's there, lights in front of it, shining down. So you've always got shadows come from the sides and the light straight on. But yeah, mess with it a bit. Have the light come from up here. Shadow down to one side, heavy shadow underneath, soft shadow coming from around. You can play with it so much then. And it is something you have to get used to in drawing. If you can find a good 3D software and get some models, that's where the good magic comes in. Like there's a really good app called Nomad Sculpt. I know you can bring in 3D objects to Procreate now, but I don't know to what extent it accepts. But on the iPad, there's Nomad Sculpt, and you can bring in most .obj files, which are object files. So anything you can download for Blender, unless it's a blend file, but an object file you can bring in there. So you can have like, it'll most of the time be, it'll mostly be the basic non-textured object that you bring in, and then you can move the lights around and make your hard lighting. Most of the time hard lighting comes from a smaller light source over a bigger area, not a big light source over an area, because like this light here is diffused to shit. So you can see, right, this light in front of me here is small. It's a little rectangle. So I'll show you. This is that big. It's like small, yeah? Just wanted a little fill light on my old face. But that one's a big diffuser. I'm not gonna bring it down. It's got a big diffusing cone. So same distance hand, barely any shadow. Same distance hand, fucking loads of shadow. Smaller light, same distance. Larger light, same distance. Probably about, that one's actually probably on a lower setting as well. This is a lot brighter. So yeah, used harsh shadows and soft shadows to mess with your unnatural symmetry. Because let's be honest, man, most things in nature or in the real world do not have perfectly uniform lighting and perfectly symmetrical shapes. Unless you're going down to quantum physics and things are tiny and then they can't do nothing but have perfect symmetry. And the last thing to add that I was thinking about the other day whilst drawing a peony as it goes, on this exact design is, and I'll try and save this and put it on the screen, is weight fall off. Now when it comes to leaves, foliage, floral designs, feathers, anything soft that might not hold itself extended at a long distance, branches, things like that, add weight fall off. So if you're drawing a circle, a lot of peonies are in a circle like this, yeah? But let's say the petals spread out. Let's say it's coming from the center, the petals are coming from the center. They're gonna go out and go down. They're gonna go out and go down like gravity, man. Then as they get to the top, they're gonna start coming over a bit more. And then they'll drop, and then they'll start doing that again. So you can add that stuff to anything. Especially, yeah, mostly floral stuff. Like if you think about it, let's say it's being held or a bird sitting on it or something, don't make it go straight, just curve it a little bit at the end. It's hanging, you know? Most of the time it's got some gravity to it. If something's sitting on it, think about the gravity, think about the weight of the thing that's sitting on the branch. Is it gonna cause a dip in the branch? They won't look at it and go, wow, man, he's put some fucking physics in that damn tattoo. No. They'll probably just associate more with it and find it more pleasing to look at because they recognize these small, discrete touches. They'll subconsciously recognize these small, discrete touches you put in a tattoo. It's a fun topic, maybe I'll discuss one day. Do people recognize these small, discrete touches people put in tattoos? Or is this all just a waste of time? I don't think it is, because I add it to my tattoos and I'm quite enjoying it really, because it really takes the boredom out of doing symmetry or straight lines, and it just makes more fun. It makes you think more when you're drawing and adds more flow to work. Anyway, I hope that was fucking helpful. That was really aggressive. I hope that was helpful. I love you all to pieces. If you would kindly subscribe and like this video, and I'd also really appreciate if you could get over onto the Patreon and sign up so I can then start making more exclusive content for you guys, because I am doing this in my spare time. Either way, I'll see you on the flip flop, and a good evening.